Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's live stream. Question time. Welcome to question time. If you are new here and don't know what we do here, every week we do a question time where you get to ask any question you like regarding game dev, Unreal Engine 4, whatever you want. Totally up to you. But you get free choice to just put in whatever question you want into chat, and I'll grab out whatever questions there are, and I'll try and answer as many as I can within the hour. So we are live, and I have chat open. So hello everyone in chat. Hello UE5 Project Storm, Angus, Mehmet, G, George. Hello, how are you all? Apologies, I am well. You can see the bags underneath my eyes. My son kept me up all night last night, and I've had like 2 hours sleep last night. Look at that. Cool. I can see that in. That's bad, isn't it? Holy hell. But we're here. We're gonna make it. We can do it. So yeah, if you haven't noticed, May sessions have all been booked up. There are no more session slots available for May, and we're now taking bookings for June. So if you want a private one-to-one session or a consultation on your project or anything, or any private work done in June, please email me at support@ryanlay.com. That's support@ryanlay.com for full details, prices, and availability. And yeah. So let's get started, I guess, in Unreal. So let's just transfer over to Unreal and see where we're at. Okay, so we've got a few questions coming through right now. I can already tell I'm going to need to have a third-person character stuff in here. I've got a first-person template, which is alright, but I need a third-person mannequin. So give me a sec. I'm just going to add a mannequin to this. Hold on. But yeah, we just keep putting your questions in the chat. I'll grab them in a second. To project, and we'll add it to. Oh, it won't take long. Oh, thank you, Pizzo. I'm glad you enjoy what I do. Hi, Bernardo. Okay. First question is from Spellar. How do I add a sword swing on right click? Okay, first of all, we need a sword swing. Do I have any sword combat stuff? Hold on, let's have a look, because I can use any. Do I have any animations for combat? That sword swings. Let's have a look. I guess we could do this. Hold on, I might add this to project as well. Hold on. We'll go through how to add sword swinging. Okay, so I added this thing into here. So we need to make a character that can use this stuff. So I'm not in the first person template, and I've just installed the bossy enemy animation pack, which was I think free last month in the marketplace. So let's have a look what we got going on here. Let's make a character mode for this. Oh, not actor. Need a character. And we'll do this one third person character. And open it up. And in here, we add the mesh for our character. There we go. Turn him around. Okay, so I don't know if this thing comes with an animation blueprint already. Let's have a look. Animations, it don't look like it. No. Okay, that's fine. We'll make a new one. So we'll make a animation blueprint. It is. And we choose our boss enemy one, which is this one. And we'll call this one third person anim. And go into that. So I'm just going to set up, I'm not going to do too much. I'm just going to set up a basic animation stuff in here. So state machine. Locomotion, we'll call it. And inside there, we'll add our state for our movement. And we'll do a blend space for this. Another one. Animation blend space 1D. And we'll choose this one. That'll do. I'm not going to worry about naming conventions for this. Don't have time for that. So in here, I'm going to put in the animations for him idle, walking, and running. So we've got walking there, run there. So as he gets closer, he runs like that. And we'll do idle there. You get that full spectrum there. So horizontal axis is his speed. So we'll change that to speed. And we'll go from 0 to 600. And hit save. Close that. And in here, we'll add our blend space. And we need a speed variable here. So we're going to promote that to a variable. It's called speed. Go to my event graph. And we're going to go try get pawn owner. And we're going to check if that's valid. And we'll just get the, I'm just going to do basic velocity. So if it's variable there, we'll get velocity. So you get the speed of any sort of actor, you get the velocity, and you get its vector length. And that's the speed of it. It's how, basically how long is a piece of string, essentially. And the longer it is, the faster you're going. So it goes into speed, hit compile, and that'll do. We're not doing anything crazy. That'll do. Okay, so go back to animation graph. Now the thing to make this work is when you're doing sword swings, you want to use the montages for this. And for montages to work in your animation blueprint, you need a slot in here. So you go add slot, default slot, and plug that in. Compile and then save. And we're going to use a root motioned attack here. So we have some root motion attacks in here. And we'll use, what's this one? I want something quite quick, really. Obviously, this is meant for like NPC, so it's not the perfect thing to use for. I'll just do this, and you can use whatever animation you want. So we're gonna use this swing animation, and what's this? Oh, okay, that. So we do this swing. I'm going to right click, not click on that one. We'll browse the asset. And it's there. And we'll create a anim montage of this. Okay. Now, this is root motion. So I want to make sure root motion is enabled. So I'm going to tick down here, root motion. And it should hopefully be okay. Now, to see if it is working okay with root motion, go to character, animation, and process root motion. And we should see him move around. Yeah, so it doesn't teleport back. You should just keep moving forwards. Yeah, good. That's what we want. Save and close that. We'll make this thing use our animation blueprint. Hold on. Third person anim. And so we've got this montage here. And this is a root motion montage. And we're keeping it simple. That'll do there. Then what that's going to do when we click to play that montage, it's going to go into our animation blueprint and insert itself in this default slot. So yeah. So what we're going to do on our third person character here, we'll set up some basic movement and attacking. So let's do that. So let's do move forwards. Add movement input. Scale there. Get control rotation. Oh no, we'll get the actor forward vector. Can't type. Get actor forward vector and plug that into there. That's just doing move forward essentially. And we'll do a mouse for turning. So do turn, and we go add pitch. No, add yaw, sorry. add your, plug that in, and we'll do look up as well, and set that to add pitch. What else? That'll do. Not gonna worry about strafing left and right. Okay, let's see if we can get this working. So for this to work in here, we need to tell our main route here to use the controller rotation yaw, set that to true there. But character movement component, we're gonna make sure we scroll down to not character movement, so we need a spring arm. Sorry, my bad. So go add a spring arm for the camera, and here we have a camera. And I'll not attach that to that, I'll attach it to the mesh, the capsule. On the spring arm, you want to make sure you've turned on use pawn control rotation. Hit compile. And I think that might be it. Let's have a look. So if I drag this character into the world now and delete the other one, and I'm going to tell it to be possessed by the player. So type in over here, disabled to player 0. Okay, and there's my character, and we can run around like so. So what I'm going to do now is when I left click, we're going to swing the sword. So on my character here, we'll just do left click or left mouse button. We go drag our mesh out and do play montage. And you choose your montage from the list, the attack one. So there it is. And because it's going to use that slot, it will override our current animations. So hit left click, and there he goes. And because it's root motions, I don't get snapped back. I continue moving with it. So yeah. And hopefully that helps you out, Sparler. Does that help you out at all, hopefully? So make sure you got that slot in there, montage, root motions, and there you go. Also, there's a lot more you can do with it. You can do like combos and things like that. Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the next person. How much time did it take me to learn Unreal Engine 4? I've been doing it for about 4 years now. I can't keep up. Hang on. Hi Ryan, can you show moving platforms or platforms that disappear after 2 seconds after being jumped on? Okay. So let's do that then. I'm going to switch back over to the first person character. Save me adding more stuff to this. Hold on. So let's put that back in there. Change that to player 1. Right, moving platforms. So let's do that. So let's make a platform. So you go to blueprint class, choose actor. We call moving platform. There's a few ways to do moving platforms. I personally prefer the spline method, but totally up to you what you want to do here. So we're going to add a cube, and that's our platform. And I'm also going to add a spline. We're going to add spline to this as well. And the spline dictates where the moving platform will go. So on event graph, what we'll do is we'll make it on begin play, follow that spline. I've got a full video on this as well, detailing this process. It's pretty simple. So event begin play, we're going to do add timeline. And we'll do movement. And inside there, we're going to add a float track. And the float track is going to say from the start of the line to the end of the line, how long will it take? So we'll put on progress. So the start of the line will be at 0 and the end of the line will be at 1. So this first point, time 0, value 0. And then the time of the next one, we're going to do at 1 second. So 1 second there, and a value of 1. Now the reason why I use 1 second, it makes it a lot easier to multiply that by other values that get a stretched out timeline. It's just a bit neater. And if you want to make it smoother transitions, we can click on this and tell it to do auto interpolation, and it'll get us much smoother movement here. And that's it. And we want this to loop. Okay. Now, when it does loop, we also want it to make it go back the other way. So we'll add another point in there. So we just do shift left click, and we'll say time of 2, value of 0, and let's change the length of that to 2. Okay. So it should look something like that. Hit compile and go back to the event graph. So with that in mind, we're going to use this progress here to take our spline out, and we're going to get the length of the spline, and we're going to multiply that by the progress here, float by float. So when it is 0, our spline length times 0 is going to be 0, and when it's 1, it's going to be equal to the spline length. So now I can get our spline and get location at distance along spline, and that distance is going to be this value here, and we will change this to world space here. And in world space, we're going to take our not world space, we're going to change that to local space, sorry. And we keep that in local space there. The reason why is because we're going to use the cube here, because it's a sibling here. We're going to set their relative position, relative location, to this new location there. Plug that into update, and that's it. So this should now move based on where I draw that spline out. So if I drag this moving platform out, we'll put it over. I'll leave it there. Make it bigger. Okay. So we'll move like that. There we go. So this spline here, I can just drag this point to wherever I want it to go. So if I drag this over here, it'll go to that point there. So hit play. It will do it quite quickly. See? So it's doing it in 1 second. So I can change the speed of that by changing the play rate of my movement here. Now when you add a timeline, you get a component down here of that timeline here, movement, as you see there. So on begin play, I'm going to drag that out to get and then set play rate. Now, because I'm using a factor of 1 as for the distance, I'm going to go new rate is going to be equal to however fast I want it to go divided by 1. So we'll do division. And you want to divide, one at top, and then divided by how fast you want it to go. So if I want to go 10 times slower, I'll put in 10. And I'll plug it into play. So if I push play now, there, it'll now go a lot slower. I can jump on it now, and it'll just take me where I want to go. That's the moving platform. Now, Vlad, you also want it to disappear after 2 seconds of being jumped on. So on here, you've got a couple of options. You can do on landed for this thing, but it'll probably be better off actually just doing an overlap event maybe. So we go add component, do a box collision, and we're going to drag that up to our box here, make it a bit bigger, like so, and I'm going to attach it to the cube. And that's important because we want it to stay with the cube's position. And then on this box here, just go right click, add event, on begin overlap. If our actor is equal to the player character, put that into a branch. If that's the case, we're going to do set timer by event, and that event is down here, and we'll do custom event, leave it like that, and 2 seconds, so type in 2, and on this custom event here, we'll tell it to destroy actor. So when we land on it, it's going to check that we are the player character, and it'll set a start timer for 2 seconds, and then it'll destroy itself. Off it goes. There you go. Hopefully that helps there, Vlad. Okay, let's see what else we're at. Let's have a look. Bartosus, where did I get that animation from? The sword. It was part of last month's free packs that came with Unreal Marketplace. It was like boss enemy attack animations, something like that. Patasso, how would I go about making a physics-based player without a capsule collision for walking? A lot like the player in tab G and tab S. I'm completely bamboozled. So if you're doing a physics-based player, you can use without using a capsule collision. I assume if you're not using a capsule collision, you're doing a character of a different shape, maybe. It is a lot of work. So if you use a pawn here, for example, you can set up a character on a pawn. So I'll go skeletal mesh, and we'll choose our boss here, and we'll set up a sphere collision for him. Make that the root, and change the radius of our. So he's in different shape, basically. Like that. Okay. Let's rotate him around. And we'll do floating pawn movement as well. Now, floating pawn movement is kind of basic. You have to add your own gravity to it. You have to add your own velocity to it and stuff like that. So the way you do make it move though is if you're going to move forwards, you take this, and I have to make sure this is turned on physics. Hold on, simulate physics, and we want to lock its constraints to rotation in the X and Y, so you don't fall over. It will stay upright. So when we do move forwards, you do you get floating pawn movement here. I think you do this anyway. Add force. No, it's not that way. So you can do add input vector if you want to do normal inputs. But that's not force. Is it force, that one? I can't remember now. Let's have a look. Oh, you can make it a force. True. Always add input. Ignore the result of is movement input. Okay. So get actor forward vector. Plug that in there. Hit compile. And whoops. Put this in here. And enable that to player 0. Delete this one. Oh, I haven't got a camera on it. Whoops. Oh, a few things. I haven't got a camera and I haven't changed the collisions on it. Sorry. Bear with me. So add a spring arm. And also add a camera. Turn that off there. And for the sphere, you want to make sure the collision preset for this is set to pawn. So collision is enabled. Pawn, all that is blocking it, so it should not fall through the floor. Hit play. Okay, so now it's adding input vectors. That's good. So what you have to do is you multiply the forward vector by this axis value. So you multiply that. Oh no. Multiply that by vector. There we go. And let's tick false. See what happens there. Hit play. And if I push forwards now, it does that. If I go backwards, I'll go forwards. So that is based on the settings that are in floating pawn movement, such as max speed, acceleration, and deceleration. So if I turn acceleration way down to like 200, for example, and deceleration to 200, you hopefully will see a slower build up. Okay. So you can use that to handle that. And that's a way of using the force to do that. Now, if you've got a character, if I put this character somewhere higher, for example, to start off with. Play. If I fall off now. Whoosh. There you go. Yeah. Okay. So the VOD for this potato will be available to Patreon members straight after the stream, and it'll be available for everyone else from next week. So if you want to keep this VOD earlier, join up Patreon just for $1. You get access to it straight away. But yeah, so there you go. And if you want to do jumping, jumping is a little bit different because you don't have a jump function here. You can't do jumping like launch character, for example. Doesn't exist. So what you need to do is add an impulse to it. So do add impulse to this sphere. And the impulse we're going to do in the Z here by a value of strength. I don't know what this will be, but we'll see what this does. So let's say, let's change it to 1,000. I have no idea what this is going to do. We'll have a look and just fine tune it. Nothing. Maybe a lot higher than. What's its mass? 433. So if I do 433,000. You get jumping. Obviously, you have to tie an animation to it. I don't have an animation for him to jump, but that's how you get jumping with the pawn movement. Okay, and that's how you do that. So to do the jumping, because it goes by the mass, so you see here mass, I've got it down here as 433.11, whatever. If you want to do a shortcut way of doing this, you take this impulse here and do a multiplied by a float, and you put in the value that you want to jump by. So let's say 1,000 units. I then put in the mass I want it to be here. So I just get the sphere and type in mass and get mass like that, and that does exactly the same what we just saw. So hit play, and you get the same impulse, and that's how you do that. If you want to turn them around, that'd be the same sort of thing, really, nothing different there. So we get turn, and on here we're going to do add your input to that there. Hit compile, and this thing is set to, we want it set to use controller rotation yaw. Turn that on. So as I turn my mouse, he turns as well, like that. Now we've got turning, jumping and turning. And that's basically it. Whoever asked that, I can't remember who asked it now. But that is how you do like physics-based movement on a character that isn't a character but a pawn instead. You have to just code all the things in manually yourself. Yeah. So Brett, thank you for the donation, Brett. There. When making keys for character location cinematics, it's hard for me to tell to time walk animations with the speed moving from location to location. Also, edit the curve, make it less robotic, but it is hard to get it to look realistic. Do you have any tips on doing that? Not really, I'm afraid. It's not really. It's all by eye, really. The only option is if you've got a root motion animation, you can just let the root motion handle that for you. But by and large, it is just a do it by eye job. Perfect it. No shortcuts for that one, I'm afraid, as far as I'm aware. Chris, hey, right, in your level traveling tutorial, how would I rather have it press E to open rather than just go to the next level? So Chris, if you check out my door tutorials where I do the door when you have to open the door with E, it's exactly the same as that, but instead of calling open door, you call open level. That's what you do there, Chris. So check out my door tutorials on like opening a door. I think it's door part 2. I'll do that. Vlad, is it possible to do motion blur for a number of seconds and then revert back to normal? So motion blur is a post process. So you can just turn off and on the post process. So let's say on this character here, if I push the 1 key, we're going to add a post process to this. So I'm going to type in post process. And in here, we're going to add motion blur. So just search details here, motion blur, and the amount. We'll whack it way up so it's obvious. Max, way up. That'll do. So I'm going to leave it on by default. So as the player moves, let's test to make sure it is motion blurry. I think we need a bit higher than that, but it is blurring. We just need a bit higher. So let's change that to, let's just whack that all the way up. There we go. Let's be a bit more extreme with it. Let's type in a value here of 10. I can't, damn it. Again, just whack all these numbers up. Just to make it obvious what it's doing. There we go, that's pretty insane. Okay, so we've got a bit of motion blur there, and all you're doing is basically turning this post process on and off with a key press, in this case a key press. So that post process, drag that out and set activate, or set active. And you toggle that off and on based on this. And if we just move toggle, we'll get active. No, we'll do is active. And if you get is active there, just do not. And when you do a not on a boolean, it basically just flips it around. So if it's true, it becomes false. If false becomes true. So 1 will now toggle it for me. So if I push play, move around. So bit motion blur. I'm going to hit 1 on the keyboard. And it should turn off. Can't really tell that well. You should turn off. Active. Let's plug that in. Make sure that's working. Yeah, that's working. Not too sure why that won't turn off, but it's something like this. You do is active. Maybe it's not is active. Maybe it's something else. Yeah. Not entirely sure. I have to come back to that one. I don't want to sit too long on it, as I'm aware of time is ticking away. UE5 Project Storm question: do you know how to clamp volume textures so they don't tile? There are no options in the volume texture itself, and clamping the texture it reads from doesn't work. I'm not entirely sure. Hold on, let's have a look at this documentation of that. Probably is. It's just Let's have a look. Let's make one. Let's do it with this pebble dash here. Create volume texture. Just tile size, yeah. Guess what you could do is just clamp the UV to be between 0 and 1. I forgot how you make this a volume material. Hold on, I can't remember how you do this now. Oh, okay, do stuff to the UVs, yeah. Hold on. Oh. No. Because normal textures have an option somewhere. No, where is it? Oh yeah, here it is. So you can change it from wrap to clamp. you have this option here normally, but you don't have it on this dude. What are you actually using the volume texture for? Next question. X Draco, is it possible for a flying AI to create a trail of particles parallel to the ground, like a trail of fire? What do you mean, in the air? Or on the floor, like drops it on the floor? Hard to explain beyond that. I don't know, to be honest. I don't see. Yeah. Nothing comes to mind. Something to investigate. Bartesis, how can I make the character simulate physics when holding onto an edge? Attach hands onto the edge and then play around with physical animations. So yeah, there is a way. What you do, I can't do the whole ledge grabbing thing in here because I don't have time to do that. But I'll show you the node you want to use. The node you want to use is you take the mesh out that you want to use, and it is physics. Which one was it? Try and find the right one. I can't remember what they call it. No, I did it in another video. Hold on, let me find it. It is. That's it. Set all bodies below. That's it. So you use set all bodies below simulate physics, and you put in the bone name. And anything that's below that in the hierarchy will be affected by it. So, for example, we're using the hands here. So if I go to these, if I drag the hands out and go into there, and if I set the bone on here, so let's find the bone to do this too. So let's do hand L, okay. No, we'll do lower arm L, so it's a bit more obvious. So in here, we're gonna make actual name, and you just put in the name of it there. So lower arm L, and new simulate is ticked to true. Compile, and let's put that into actual code here. Put begin play. I'm the wrong bloody character. Get that. Okay, push play. So if I break out of this, it should hopefully be all floppy. Or not. It should be. Did I spell it right? Lower arm underscore L. Lower arm underscore L. Yeah, it should do it. Maybe because it's using IK, mate, it's breaking it a little bit. Let me do something else that doesn't involve IK. Hold on. If I change this mesh to use the other mannequin, like this. And if I say use that one instead. And do it from spine 1. Hopefully that'll work. No, why isn't that working? What have I missed? Let's change that to custom and change that to fit collision enabled. There you go. So now it goes floppy at that arm. I just need to enable that collision. So that spine. So spine 01, everything that's connected to it will be floppy. So if you want the legs to dangle whilst you're climbing up something, which I'm guessing what you're trying to do, you put in the legs here. So that would be thigh L, for example, and anything connected to thigh L will go go droopy. So thigh L. And if I go back here, you can see that leg is just now dangling. Yeah. And that will dangle whilst you're walking about. So what you could do is when you're climbing ledges, you do a line trace to the wall. And if it hits no wall, just simulate, see the physics on it, simulate the physics on the leg. But when it does detect the wall, turn the physics off so you can grab hold of it and do an animation on it. So I'm guessing that's what you're trying to do, based on the question. How long we got left? 15 minutes. How do you set a homing projectile? Sure. So we've got actually a character already that shoots projectiles. So here's the projectile. Got that. And we can go to the projectile settings for this, and we're going to go to its homing options down here. Is homing projectile? Yep. And if it's homing projectile, I think you turn off the initial speed. No. Yes. Maybe it's something like that. But you got to set homing projectile, but you have to set the homing target. So if I do set homing, let's drag out this. Sorry. Type in homing, and you set homing target component. And let's say no, sorry, not there. We say on begin play. We're setting it to the target of oh, I don't know. Let's just get actor of class, and we'll do the moving platform, and we'll get the root component of that and plug that into there. So that'll set the target for that. And I can't remember if you turn off initial speed or not. I know, I think you turn off the velocity here. I think this is where you turn it off. I think. Oh, I don't know now. So you have the homing acceleration magnitude. So this is how strong it is towards doing that. So you can put in any value you want in here, but it will be capped by this max speed you have up here, so 3,000. So let's put 3,000. play. Go over here. So I shoot up this way. Yeah, I think you do have to turn off initial. Turn it off to 0. I don't think this is working, but nonetheless, it's something like that. Better be 3000. I think it's just going to 000 because I think it's not finding that component for some reason. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure why it won't find that, but that's what you do. You plug in the component you want it to track to, and turn on his homing projectile, and turn up the speed of its projectileness. So how does it accelerate towards it? That's about it. Yeah, I'm wondering whether you can get away with it being. It just says like scene component, so it could be any component really. But nonetheless, that's what you do. You plug it into there, and it'll go. Have I played Valheim? No, I haven't. I haven't had no time to play any games recently. I'm literally doing one-to-one sessions with people pretty much every night. So I work all day and I do pretty much sessions every single night. So I've had no time to play video games lately. I miss them. Try and find another question for someone. Vlad, you're asking how to do the Gears of War perfect reload system. Sure. Okay, so you'll have a reload animation. Okay. Which let's put in this character here because they're set up with animations already. And get rid of this one. And we'll take to possess this one. Okay. So I've got just movement stuff going on here. But what I want to do for this dude is I want to make him so he can reload. Now, he does have a reload animation. Reload here. So he's holding a rifle, is it? Yeah, like a rifle. So we reload rifle hip. So this thing. Okay. So when that happens, we need to set up a notify here of a point where we want it to be able to do the perfect reload. So first of all, we need to make this a montage for this to work. So create montage, reload. And on our character here, when I hit the R key, we're going to, oh my god, mouse. We're going to have a reload function. So we're going to take the mesh here and play montage. And on the montage here, we're going to do is reload. Compile. Now, what we want to do here is on, we want to do, crouch. Oh, I don't have input, do I? I'll turn it off. Let's get rid of it. There you go. So you play montage on that. So let's go have a look at that. We need to make sure his animation blueprint set up with montages in mind. I don't think it is by default, if I remember rightly. No, it isn't. So you need a slot in here. And plug that in. So now when you push R, he should reload. Yep. Okay, so to do a perfect reload, this involves a lot more work than we have time for. So it will involve like UI stuff. But essentially, on your gun here, animation, looking at a notify track. So you want to find a point where you want it to be a perfect reload. So when it gets to maybe like here, maybe. I don't know. You want to go notifiers and add notify state. And here you want to make your own notify state. And notify states are a window of time on the board here. So make a notify state, you just go to blueprint class, all classes, notify state. There it is. And hit select. And we'll leave it like that. And in here we've got functions which you can override. So you've got notify begin, end, and tick. And we'll do begin. And we'll do this. And what we want to look at here is the mesh comp. And we're going to look at what the player character is doing that is owning the mesh component. So in the mesh component, we're going to get the what's it called? Actor, is it actor? What's it called? Parent? Get owner. There you go. So get owner, and that'll get us the actor that owns it. And from there, I want to cast to I can't remember now. So this, and then you bind event. I think it's that. So you do this. And we want to make a event binding on our player character here. So event dispatcher, reload, ed event dispatcher, that'll do. And on back on here, we bind event to ed reload, and we'll make a we'll make a function in here. No, not function. No function we do. Function, and this would be active reload. Oh, reload, can't spell. Back on here, we want to take the UE4 ASP character that we get here, promote to variable, so we can access it in a moment. So like that, and then the event here, create event, and we use active reload here. So pile. See, I didn't think you could do bind events in the functions. I guess I'm right. You can't do it. Oh, poopy. Oh, I didn't compile the other one. That's why. There we are. Active reload. There we go. So that'll go into there. And that sets to that. Is read only within this context. Oh shit. Okay. Not too sure what we're gonna do with that one then. It's something to do with this. Can't set this. That's annoying. Oh, you're so annoying. Because once you've got it, you can make a state in here, go add notify state and choose your state. And you can then customize the window you can do it in. And if you hit the key whilst in the state, I can't remember how you check that. Hang on. Can I get montage? No. Amplify state. I guess you can do notify begin, notify end, and use that. So on notify begin, you can do a gate maybe. So notify begin will open the gate, and end will close the gate. And when you hit R again, so press will do this. I guess we'll do it. I don't know. Press that once, and it does that. Press it again. Well, let's skip this, don't we? We'll do is play montage then. So we do mesh. Get anim instance is montage playing, and we'll choose the reload and put that into a branch. So when you press it, we'll go in there, check if it's playing. If it's not, it will do this. If it is, we're going to skip it all that and just go straight to the gate here to open it up and allow us through if we begin notify begin and end. So on here again, this would be done visually as well with some UI. I don't have that luxury of time, so we're going to see if we can get it right like this. Oh, hang on. Yeah, we'll just get rid of this. Delete and delete. Okay. Play. Hit reload. Hold on, let's make it really obvious. Nope. Oh, you get. Let's see what this is saying. Print string. This. Play. False. True. False. Yeah. That's correct. I think it's to do with these montages. No, notify begins. I don't think these are ticking off. Print string. Hello. I think they use different notifiers, if I remember rightly now. Yeah. So that means we have to put it on this one, not that one. Notify state, new blueprint. Like that. And montage notify window is what you want. That's the one we wanted. So I know we'll get rid of the other one in a second, but that's the one we want. So if I hit R again in that window, there you go. It worked. So let's get rid of that print string there, and we'll call this one perfect reload. And if that happens as well, we can tell it maybe to stop playing the montage. So a montage stop. And get anim instance and plug that into there. Okay, so if I nail it, let's turn off the old one as well. We don't need that. Hit play. So if I hit reload and then hit R again in the correct window, it didn't. Bollocks. No, crap. Oh, come. Whoops! I forgot to plug this back in. That's why. That would help. Okay. Yeah, perfect reload, done. Okay, so that's how you do that. So to recap how to do the perfect Gears of War perfect reload, on your animation montage, right click in the notify track and do add notify state and choose montage notify window. Then on the reload key, you're going to check whether or not the montage is already playing. If it isn't playing, you're going to hit the play and then carry on into a gate. The gate is going to be open and closed based on when notify begins and notify ends. So essentially, what happens is it will open up when it hits this point and it closes when it reaches this point. Then if you push R again and the montage is still playing, it will skip the play montage and go straight to the gate and open it up or go into it. And if it's open, because we're in that window, it will do the perfect reload. There you go. Done. And that brings us to the end. We've gone about 5 minutes over. So we're going to end it there for tonight. Sorry if I didn't answer all your questions tonight. We are doing this every Wednesday, so do come back next Wednesday if you want to see and ask more questions. If you want to see the VOD of this, so the video on demand of this session tonight, you can go to patreon.com/Ryan Laley, where a donation of just $1 will get access to that, plus all of my videos months before they come available to everyone else. So massive thank you to all my patrons, everyone who's subscribed, everyone's donating, everyone who's watching right now. Thank you so much for your support. It really does mean a lot. Thank you so much again. Have a good night, and I wish you all the best. I'll see you hopefully this Saturday, if I don't cancel that live stream again. Thanks everyone, and see ya. Bye.